Do you sometimes feel like we have made our journals too complicated, that we kind of incorporate them with way too many fussy things, fancy pockets, lots of complicated folding, and we have such a variety of all different pockets and various different embellishment pieces and things, all with different names and, you know, lots of new things to learn and all different methods, tools and what have you that we all kind of need. And would you fancy just rewinding it right back to the beginning and getting things really super simple again? If you would, stay with me. We are here for our episode 1 of our Back to Basics series that we are running between Christmas and New Year, where we are going to start this very, very simple altered book. It is, you know, in the theme of what we're doing, keeping things very, very simple. So if you would like to join me, then stay tuned. Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, I was looking through kind of journals and things, and I just thought, actually, sometimes I think we overcomplicate them and make them off-putting to make. And there's no reason why you can't do something just really, really super simple that actually is, you know, just as lovely as the complicated things that we make. So this one, for example, I mean, it's just a wraparound cover with a sort of thicker piece of paper as the cover. And then I've got inside a bunch of variety of document papers, some book papers, some food colour papers, you know, all different sort of papers. I've got here some internal envelope. I put some lace on some. I've got some doily paper and things, you know, so it looks very interesting. And then as my, you know, literally only pockets, I've got just a couple of flowers that have been fussy cut out and just literally tucked in a couple of elements. And I've got, you know, a flower there just kind of glued on with a bit of lace. So it really couldn't be more simple. But isn't that just such a scrumptious, lovely journal? And it's got plenty of writing space, obviously. You know, wasn't kind of too overwhelming to make or anything. Looks beautiful on the front. I've got a lovely lace cluster here and a little piece there from my vintage toppers, and just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? The paper, by the way, if you were wondering, that's from my Victorian scrapbook collection papers. So that's that one. And then I've got here, whoops, got here beside it, a couple of just little pieces that I've made using just some envelopes, which have just been coffee dyed. They were originally kind of A5 envelopes. I've just coffee dyed them. I've put them in here with the pockets. So I've glued the flap down on the inside and made pockets here. Obviously, as you can see, you know, they're completely undecorated at the moment. And then inside, I've just literally gathered up a selection of mainly vintage documents. I think this might be all vintage documents. Let me just check. Yeah, I think this is all vintage documents in this one. And then all I did was I just took it to the sewing machine and stitched straight through the middle. So again, absolutely gorgeous, full of yummy, you know, vintage yumminess. Lots of journaling space, because even though a lot of these are documents, they obviously, like here, you've got, you know, lots of plain space, but they're all single-sided. I think they're all single-sided. So, of course, you can journal on the back. And then on the front, you could either leave it, you know, like this, or you could do very minimal decoration, or you could make it quite fancy, kind of depending on how you liked it. So I've made a couple of those. This one, the only change was I'd done the pockets on the outside, just for a, you know, slightly different take on it, but very similar. Then this one, I just literally gathered some vintage documents, and the whole thing is just literally vintage documents, you know, including the cover. Again, I just then, whoops, bundled them up and stitched that on the sewing machine. Again, I think I mainly used, other than this one, I mainly used single-sided, and other than that one. So there's plenty of journaling space in here. Now, obviously, that's kind of your basic journal. You could then make a cover or not, depending on whether you wanted to, you know, go to that kind of length of trouble, or you could just leave it like that. It's perfectly cute. Obviously, the benefit of a cover is you're protecting, you know, your journal, what's inside. So, you know, you could easily make a cover, a little wraparound cover, or again, you know, you could take it back to the sewing machine once you had your cover and restitch it through, including the cover. So, you know, that's another kind of very simple idea. You could just take a bunch of papers. I've got here sort of a bunch of printables and things, and just literally select them. These are all single-sided. And so what I could do is just literally coffee dye these and then bind them in a way that produces, you know, a wonderfully sort of scrumptious journal. So perhaps we will do that in a moment. Or you could take an altered book. Now this one, I did this a long time ago, where I've obviously glued the pages ready for making an altered book. I've painted some but didn't get round to actually finishing it, so of course I need to do that. They are very bright, I have to say. In hindsight, I probably wouldn't have done them so bright, but I can always go over them with a dull down, you know, like an ivory or a white or something to dull them down. So that's fine. Obviously, I've made a bit of a mess of doing them, but I just wanted to kind of like get some paint on here to give it a, you know, a bit of a start, really. So yeah, you could take an altered book and obviously just glue your pages together. There's plenty of videos on doing altered books. I've done a couple of videos or a few videos myself on doing altered books and some tips and things that I've picked up along the way, which I will try and remember to link below, but who knows whether I will actually remember that. And then obviously again, you know, I like to just paint my pages on an altered book. So again, you can then obviously journal straight over the painted pages, but then you can obviously just decorate them up. So before we actually get making anything, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just quickly finish off this book by painting the rest of the pages and maybe dulling down some of the bright ones. And I will coffee dye the backs of some of those papers, and then we'll come back and do something just very super simple. Okay, so I'm back now. I have coffee dyed my papers. They're currently drying, so we'll come to those in a moment. But what I've done, I've just dulled down my pink paint, so it's not quite so bright. I've dulled down some of the lilac as well, but I've left some, can't now find any, but I've left some bright like that. So we'll just kind of play it by ear. I can always obviously paint over again if I decide that actually I need a bit more painted. And then what I've got here is just a treasury of nursery rhymes book. Oh, by the way, so this obviously now, this is like a little journal itself. I mean, you could just leave this completely plain and then just use it like a little notebook and, you know, journal in it now. But you could add some pretty kind of bits and bobs to it. So what I've got here is I've got this Hilda Boswell's Treasury of Nursery Rhymes. It's got lots of gorgeous, yummy pictures. And I've picked this book specifically because it's got lots of quite vibrant pictures in purples and pinks. So hopefully it's going to tone quite well with the book, even though I've tried to dull it down. Obviously, it's, you know, it's still quite bright, certainly in lots of places. So just going to take a couple of images. So I always struggle to pick some because, of course, you know, these are double-sided pages. So whatever I take from one side means I can't use what's on the other side. So it always kind of like proves a bit of a problem for me choosing what pictures I'm going to use, because I was thinking, oh, which page do I want to use? You know, I don't want to kind of, you know, use one side and then sort of wish that I'd use the other side. So I've got that one. I'm so sorry. That's Bo. My son's home today, so hopefully he's going to get the door if that is the door. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's take these couple. Now, these are quite big pictures, it has to be said. So I may struggle to even use these kind of as they are anyway, but we'll just kind of, you know, we'll just see how we get on. What about that one? That one's rather nice. Yeah. So I've got a few here to start with. Let's just see whether I want any others. Oh my goodness. I mean, do you see? Like that. Love that side. Love that side. That's going to definitely be a quandary for me. Yeah. Oh, can I see through it? Yeah. No, it's literally smack bang the whole page. Right. Okay. So let's get started with the ones that we've kind of pulled out here. So let's just go to a page. Now, I've said this loads of times before, but I do try and just flit between pages in the book. I don't like kind of going like page one and working my way through. Part of the reason, and I've said this loads of times before, is because I think, if you work like that, say you do lots on one day and then you go back to it 3 days later and then you're working consecutively through, sometimes your taste change literally on a like daily basis. So, you know, it might then become apparent when you flick through that journal, oh, you know, that person worked on those 3 pages, you know, on one day. And they must have worked on those pages another day because your style is kind of significantly different. The other reason is because sometimes, you know, you might run out of supplies. So for example, you know, let's say this was quite a small children's book and I only had this many images. If I used all of these images up by this point in the journal, then suddenly I'm going to have a completely different feel for the rest of the journal. So if you flick through, it just eliminates that. You know, you don't have to worry about, oh, what if I haven't got enough to actually work my way through? You know, it will then kind of pan out okay. So let's choose what image we're going to put on this page. So, oh, don't know. Do quite like her, I have to say. She's pretty gorgeous, isn't she? So what we could do, obviously we are making a very simple journal. We are trying not to overcomplicate things and make things, you know, kind of overwhelming when we come to do them. So I'm thinking what I could do is just like tear her out. Want to try and keep as much of her as I possibly can. She might be better that way. Let's just go this side for a minute. I'm just trying to work out where I get the most of her. Yeah, the most of her, because obviously she, you know, she is quite large. So obviously she's at an angle. Oh, I'm so sorry. I've got a bit of a cold today as well. So I'm going to have to keep stopping and starting the video, I'm afraid. So yeah, it's going to be one of those days. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to need to reinforce this because it's not particularly thick. But I'm thinking cut her down here and like tear her across there. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to just cut across here. I'm trying to save some of the text in case I want to use that anywhere. So I'm just going to go across here like that. Okay, oops, I had not realised that I had the text kind of like positioned behind there. So, well, that's fine. So like that. Okay, and then what she can do, she can just be a little kind of corner pocket. So do we want her on that side? I have to say I prefer her really on this side, which is a shame because obviously she's angled that way. Yeah, I'm not going to really get around that unless I go further into the book again. So like that. Okay, so let's put her here instead. So I'm going to just take her down. I will have to cut her slightly more on the side, but that's fine. So I'm just going to glue her down onto the book page. Now I'm planning on cutting her, remember, so I'm going to just kind of go in, but hopefully I'll get quite a lot of glue on there. Like that. Okay, and then just all around. So I mean literally you're going to be needing very minimal supplies for this kind of journal, and I'm hoping that we're going to you know, really like how it looks. So let's just pop her on there like that. Right, just quickly spread my glue out like that, and then I'm just going to take her down again like that. I'm going to take her down on this edge, just getting rid of that orange because I'm not so keen on that. Okay, I mean that was just personal preference thing. And then I can just tear across here. Like that. Okay, now if I've missed anywhere, I can always just put my glue in and sort of touch up. Just like here. And the only reason I'm being quite so particular is because if you kind of have like, you know, pieces of paper that aren't particularly glued down at the back, if you use this as like a tuck spot or a pocket, then what you're going to end up with is, you know, sections where it's going to catch whatever you're putting into the pocket. So like that. Okay, so that looks really pretty, and then we'll pop that down just onto that page like that. Now these pages, these are done as pockets in the side, so they're really nice and roomy anyway. So we can just literally have her glued down. I'm going to just ink around. So this is just my vintage photo. And then I probably will ink around the pages after I complete them. Oh, let's just do it quickly now. Just, yeah. So go round the page, quickly inking. And again, you know, it really doesn't matter. I'm not kind of going for a masterpiece here or anything. You know, we're just going for kind of like quick and easy, like that. Okay. Like that. Okie dokie. Right, okay. Yep. And then we can just glue this down. Like that. Okay, just like that. Okay, so very, very simple, but she is now just a pocket on the edge of that page. So, I mean, there was no tricky kind of complicated folding or anything like that. She just looks, you know, yummy and gorgeous, doesn't she? Just on that page like that. Now, I have got those decorative papers, so I might see if we want to have any decorative paper or anything like that anywhere. Not sure whether I do or not, but we might kind of like intersperse it through the journal. So okay, I've got some of my totally dotty papers. They're really nice, aren't they? Got this blue which kind of picks up the blue of her dress, so we could just have something like that on here. I mean, what we could do is even have this as a journaling point on here, so a journaling spot. So I just take that down like that. Okay. Just go in here. Like that. Yeah, what we could do is just pop that on there, which is then a journaling spot. So again, just glue this down quickly. And remember, we're going for, you know, easy, simple journals. We are not overcomplicating anything. So, you know, I've not added anything to here. I've not put any folds or anything like that. Okie dokie. Just pop that down. Where's my glue spreader gone? There it is. Okay. So just dab out the glue. Okie dokie. And then I'm just going to sort of ink around there, just so as we've got the, you know, continuity, because we've inked the other bits. We'll just ink this as well. There we go. Okay, so loving how that looks. And then what I thought we'll do is I've got some more of my totally dotty papers. I'm just going to take a little strip from the side. So, you know, again, we're just keeping it simple. So nothing, you know, nothing complicated going on here whatsoever. Just going to take that strip, cut that down. Oops, like that. And then what I thought we'll do is make a little paper ruffle. Now, you can kind of try and ruffle the paper up. I have to say I'm never very successful at doing that. I mean, I'm trying to attempt it here. Not great. But I do like the look of that. So, yeah, perhaps I'll just try and do this. Okay, so sort of ruffling it rather than the folds that we've done traditionally on the paper ruffles that we've made. Oops, like that. Now, I'm going to try and staple this. Okay. I was going to just glue it down, but I thought, no, let's have the added interest of the staples. So, oops. Just going in here with the stapler. Oops. Yeah, I'm not great with doing the whole paper ruffling, to be honest. If they're not the sort of neat pleats, this for me is a little bit fiddly, and I don't make the best job of this, but it will look, you know, it will look okay. Well, hopefully it will look okay. I'm saying it would look okay, but oh, who's to say it's going to look okay? Oh dear. Right. There we go. I like to have ruffles, you know, at a curve, to be honest. I think they're quite fun. Plus, I think this is going to be a fun sort of style journal. So I think the ruffle at a curve would look, you know, incredibly cute. Do we want it going down the side or down the bottom? I think probably down the bottom. So I'm just going to glue that on now with my hot glue. Okay, like that. It's just tying the colours in and, you know, bringing it kind of all together. And then in here, we can just like make a journal card, maybe from the rest of the book page that we've got left. So wherever that now has gone, here we go. Oh, there's not a great deal left. We've just got this little cat. Oh, and the cat over the other side. Well, shall we just go for that? Let's just take that down. Okay. That down there. I mean, I am going to have that pink for the curtains, which I'm not that keen on, but what I might do is let's just glue this down. So again, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to glue it on to this paper which we've already used. So then we've got the, you know, the continuity going on between the two pages. Well, I mean, it's not really two pages, but the double page spread, if you see what I mean. So just quickly glue this down. Because this is a nice pale colour, you know, I'm thinking this is absolutely fine for journaling on. Obviously, we could have used plain, could have used coffee dyed paper. That would have also looked very pretty. You know, anything really that you've got to hand would look fine. So again, let's just take this, cut this down like that. Okay, let's just go in a bit more actually. And then actually what I'm wondering is whether we could use the purple that we've already used over the other side. Just tear down a little slither of that. Just pop that down there. Covers up those curtains quite well, but also ties in the purple then from the other side. So let's just go down there with a bit of glue, just down that sort of edge, and then just down on this edge as well, like that. Pop that down there, sliding it over to roughly where I think is a good spot for that to go. Okay, like that. And we're just going to snip that off. Like that. Oops, I've just got a little bit of glue down there. Let me get my tissue, wipe that off. It's a bit messy with my glue. And then, you know, just like round the corners. Oops, did not make a good job of rounding that. Oh my gosh, and all that time. Oh well, that's okay. Right, so that's our little corners. Might even be able to make a little tab or something from here. Again, just, you know, we're keeping this simple, so kind of doing things where if you've not got sort of equipment and things, this would all be, you know, fine to use. So I'm just going to glue this together. Okay. Put that over. Just like that. Again, just ink around there. You know, I mean, I've really not been kind of too fussy about it. I've even got a bit of an overhang of the paper. Not too worried about that. ink around there. I'm going to tie it in really nicely with the rest of the page. Ink around the back of the card as well. I'm now thinking I need to ink the, you know, that polka dot paper that I've glued down. I need to ink that quite a bit more, don't I? Because look at that. Right, we'll just ink this, what's going to be the tab. So this is just like a very, very, very simple journal card. Get my stapler. Using the big staple because, because it's, you know, hopefully going to kind of cover most of that tab. Now, do we want it on the side? I quite like it on the side, yeah. Let's have it there. I mean, it is upside down now, the text, but I don't think that really matters too much. There we go. So we're just going to then pop that into there. Just going to ink around here a little bit more, like that. Okay. And then actually what we could do, could even have this text somewhere. Don't know whether we want to do this, but let's just see. Or what we could do, because it's quite big now, to have that whole title, we could just take that down smaller, like that. I just liked how this was written, to be honest, so I thought, oh, that would be quite pretty. And then we've still got the rest of that written here. Let's just ink that up. I could do it like that, or I could just use the whole text from the book. What do we think? Let's just try it with the smaller text for where it says Mary. Just take that and let's do okay. Right. Oh, that's cute, isn't it? So, yeah, unfortunately, I thought I was going to be able to use this, but yeah, it looks quite quite big and not all that attractive on there. So, let's just take this and just glue this down. Mary had a, oops, pretty bird. There we go. Just pop that down there. So how cute does that look? I mean, super simple, but what a lovely page. And so, you know, just something like that, we could just continue that through the book. So we'll just do another page very quickly in this book. So again, I'm going to kind of like skirt it, you know, along and do a different page. So let's do this page so we've got slightly different sort of colour scheme going on. So again, I'll just quickly ink up the page. I did say that I would probably ink up last, but yeah, I'll do it first. Okay. Like that. Again, just ink around. And the other thing is, you know, you don't have to obviously fill your journal up completely. So another way to simplify it, and you know, I'm terrible for not doing this, but you could just kind of like fill some of your pages and not all of them. Oh, excuse me. So thinking maybe just have a little bit of decorative paper or something going down there. Partly because I've got this pink here that I just wanted to cover up if possible. That's from my lavender collection. And then we've got her. I mean, we could even just have her as a journal card that we just clip in, to be honest. So yeah, let's just take her down like that, I think. Like that, and just, I don't know whether I do want that green on the bottom of there or not really, but just give her a try. Okay. Like that. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure, to be honest, about this. Let's just have a look. Could have just a piece of polka dot paper for journaling space in here, maybe. Got this one as well. Well, that's quite nice, isn't it? Right, let's just take this down for a minute. I mean, these are quite nice because these are quite pale in colour. You know, like I say, they're perfectly fine to use as journaling spaces because they're really quite neutral. You know, you'd be able to journal on these with no problem at all. Okay. Just thinking, do we want that? Maybe her that side. The whole point was I wanted to cover up this, and now, of course, look, I'm not covering that up at all. But never mind. Right. So, yeah, should we back her onto here? We're just going to kind of paper clip her in. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut her down, I think, slightly smaller than this because she's quite ginormous. Now, obviously, we do have some of him in the picture, which is a bit annoying, but okay. So yeah, let's just pop her down onto that paper. Okay. Like that. Okay, and yeah, just spread the glue. Okay. Right, I'll just cut her out. Like that. Oops, oh dear, look at that wonky top that I've done. Not very good. Right, there we go, that's a bit better. And then we'll just, again, round the corners. You don't have to round the corners, but, you know, sometimes that looks nice. I quite like to just do a couple of the corners, actually. You know, I think that's a bit of a sort of fun, different look. You know, you don't have to round every single corner going. So let's glue this down. And then I do still want to cover up the pink that's running down the edge of that page. So I'm going to have to do something with that. Okay. Okay, so then what I've done, I've dug out some ribbon. Now I have to say, obviously this is, you know, peachy colour ribbon, so not necessarily the look that I was intending in the first place, but I think it's still going to look nice. I mean, we've got lots of kind of peachy tones and things like that in the pictures from the kids book, so just going to snip that, you know, dovetailing that, and then I'm just going to ruffle this down the edge here where I've obviously got that pink paint that I just want to cover up. So I'm going to do it how we do the sari silk ruffles. So just move this out the way. So I'm going to do it with my hot glue. Just run a bit of hot glue down the side of the page. Oops, my hot glue gun's now, oh, not hot enough. Hold on a second. Right, hang on. Okay, so I'm just going to very quickly ink the journal card. Just on the front. And then on the back as well. Okie dokie. There we go. Did we ink up this? I can't remember, to be honest. So I've stopped the video and I've met my mum and dad for a coffee, and now I've come back to it. So I'm struggling to remember where we'd got up to and what we'd done, but I'll just ink this up. There we go. So I'm going to put something down on this side to cover up that, you know, paint that's here. So from that perspective, I'm going to actually paperclip this onto this side. So let me just see if I've got a paperclip laying around. No. Let me just grab a paperclip. Got some behind me. Hang on a second. Oops. Okay. Oops. Just trying to find a small one rather than a large one. Just take that. Just clip that onto there. So I've got this ribbon here. Now this is a sort of peachy colour, which, you know, kind of really shouldn't go with this, but to be honest, it does, because a lot of the book images have got a sort of peachy tone into them. So I think it's going to look fine. If we look at the other page that we decorated, I mean, it does tone quite nicely, doesn't it? So yeah, I think it's going to look nice still. So I'm just going to ruffle this down the edge, just exactly how we do with our sari silk. So just going straight down the edge of the page there and just pop it on. I could have stapled it. The reason why I haven't is because obviously my pages are pockets, so it just would be a little bit fiddly, because I'd have to, you know, staple from inside the pocket, if you see what I mean. So I thought this would be easier to just glue it. I don't mind the staple, I don't mind the glue. I think both have their place. There we go. Right, I've made a bit of a mess of, oops, bit of a mess of glue in that. Let me just pick that up there and do that little bit again. Okay. There we go. Right. Okay, so that looks fine, and then we'll just dovetail that off on the bottom. So straight away, obviously, you know, the journal's kind of coming together now. And like I, you know, keep on saying, is we're trying to keep this really nice and, you know, basic and easy. So, you know, we might really just keep our decorations to very minimal decorating. So, you know, going back through, maybe we'll do like a page here. Just ink that up like that. Okay. Okie dokie. Oops. Okay. Okay, and then what you also could do is, of course, just take some bits and just glue them flat onto the page. So, you know, they're just kind of decorating the page, but you're not actually kind of making pockets at all. you know, that would be something else to actually do. You know, just keeping your decorations nice and easy, nice and flat and straightforward. Other things that you could do that again are very, very simplistic, you know, so you're not actually kind of going to town making very complicated, you know, very difficult kind of pieces, is just staple in or glue in, staple together and then glue in some flippy pads and things like that. So very, very simple things, you know, that you'd be able to do to alter your, you know, your altered book really. So yeah, so that's the start of this journal. I'm loving how it looks so far. We've done very minimal decorating, you know, kept it very, very simple, but it looks very pretty already, doesn't it? Okay, so it's looking really pretty so far. So let's get another one of our pieces in. So we've got this one here. So again, going to kind of flick through, because obviously I'm making quite a basic journal, you know, that we're hopefully not going to be taking too much time on. I'm going to not fill up every page basically. So just going to ink this page up. We'll take this page for this one. Okay. I mean, obviously, depending on, you know, how decorated you want it to be, you could decorate every page. But because we're trying to do, you know, very quick, basic journals, I think what we'll do is just do, you know, a handful of pages with kind of like tuck spots and things. And it will turn out, you know, just as lovely and just as gorgeous to use. So, well, hopefully it will. Hopefully. Right. So this one, we've got obviously the, you know, I don't know, Prince kind of looking chap. And then we've got obviously the maid. Now, how do we want to do her? Well, we could even do her like a belly band, to be honest. Yeah, so we'll just take her down here. Like that, I think. Not sure about this. Let's take her like that, and yep, in this side. Just see how that works width-wise with her so far. So she'd be probably, yeah, a bit wide probably, but that's fine. I'm going to take her down, but what I'll do, I'll cut her and I'll cut in a little bit. So I'm just using this sort of folded edges as a guide, but I'm going over a couple of millimeters. So I'm just making her narrower than she initially was. I don't know whether I'll do anything with the man or not. Again, he's got those orange tones, which I didn't necessarily want to have, but, you know, I don't mind them. And to be honest, you know, the orange did work okay, didn't it, on the other page where we had them. So we'll see. I'm being open-minded at the moment about having him in here or not. Again, we might just make him as a, you know, a journal card or something instead. So we could have her like this as a belly band, or we could even just have her like more on the edge as a, you know, pocket or tuck spot. So I'm going to take her down roughly to the height of the page. Again, you know, it's fine to have them smaller, but I mean, obviously you don't want it taller than the page. So just take that down there like that. Okay, now I'm going to have to glue her onto something to thicken her up, just like we did when we made the other style pocket. So I'll just going to glue her onto some book page. So, yep. Still haven't decided whether to put her more as a belly band or a pocket, to be honest. So we'll have to decide in a second. So let's move that to one side. Okie dokie. Just glue this down. And again, you know, you could stitch these on the sewing machine. You know, I'm keeping this obviously super simple because we're doing the, you know, the basics series of like rewinding and going back to basics without all the fussy, fancy, you know, folding tucks and pockets and envelopes and what have you. We're just doing very, very basic style decorating. But yeah, I mean, obviously if you wanted to stitch these, you could. but I thought that probably went away from keeping it very simple and basic. So just quickly, let's take that there. I'm going to just do this from the other side because these, I've ironed some of the pages, you know, the coffee dyed pages that I've done. And now, of course, what's happened is this has now gone a little bit soggy where it was kind of on the damp pages with the coffee dye. So just need to be careful that I don't actually tear this. So, yeah. Literally cut that down again, just take that down like that, a little bit this side, okay. Don't know how straight that looks now, it's probably gone very wonky now, but we'll see in a moment. Okay, right, so a bit wonky there, but hey, never mind. Right, so if we had it this side, we can always cover that wonky strip up, I suppose. Just try and get that cut out so it doesn't look so bad. There we go. Oh, it looks worse. Look at what I've done with that. Yep, so much for, oh, just cut that so it doesn't look so bad. No, I've made it look worse. It's very soggy. You can probably see the paper sort of moving as I'm cutting, which is of course not really helping with the getting a straight edge part of this, but never mind. Right, now, do I like it on that background? Because now I'm thinking, would I prefer it on the lilac? Let me just have a look. No, I think I do like it on here, actually. Again, I've got some more of the dotty paper. So I've got this, or do I have any more of the blue, I wonder? Sure I did. Oh, or I've got this, the smaller dots. We could, no, don't like that on there. What's this that I've got? No. Oh, I don't know what I've done with some of this, to be honest. Right, okay, so I've got this one. That's fine. I'm just going to take this. So I'm going to cut this down here. Just get rid of that. And yeah, so I mean, if we were to have this here, obviously that's going to cover up that edge. So we could have that coming out from in the pocket, to be honest. Makes that look quite pretty, doesn't it? I'm just going to take that down slightly on the bottom. Like that, okay. Right. Just get rid of these. Yep. Okay, right. Let's glue this down. Really trying not to overthink, just, you know, wanting to just go for this and, yeah, get things down as quick as possible. You know, what would be lovely is obviously to get journals that you can do in, you know, certainly a day. I mean, preferably even, you know, a couple of hours would be amazing. This obviously is going to be longer than a couple of hours. You know, I mean, obviously you've got to prep your book. That's probably the most time consuming part of this, is prepping your book. I'd obviously done my prepping of my book, you know, previously. So that's kind of really sped the process up. But the actual now, you know, turning it into a pretty journal, a usable journal, you know, all of that is hopefully going to be, yeah, just a couple of kind of hours work, really. So, but like I say, this is probably the longest, you know, the longer project out of all the ones that we're going to do. Right, now, unfortunately, I'm not making a good job of my inking. I've got some actually glue dripped onto my ink pad, so that's not really great. But anyway, so again, just ink around here. Can you see how soggy and flimsy that is? So yeah, it's hard to work with. Should have really dried this off, but I hadn't actually realised how soggy it was until I picked it up to actually use in the video. And I thought, oh well, I'll go with it anyway. It will hopefully dry as I work. But yeah, it's staying pretty soggy, which is annoying. But so we're going to put that down as a little strip down the side. Now, again, what we could do is we could have some more of that ribbon. So, oops, just dropped it on the floor. Pull that back in. So again, we could just have the ribbon kind of going down the side, which looks quite pretty, doesn't it? And then on the facing page, I mean, we could just have like a little bit of paper kind of like torn around, because this is obviously all that I've got left now of this colour. So yeah, I mean, we could just have something like that, which ties in the two pages. So like that. Okay. Pop that down. Oops. Like that. Okay, and yeah, just glue that down and then just ink this up like that. Okay, so straight away that looks very pretty, doesn't it? And then we're going to have this pop down on here. Now, going to, yeah, attempt to glue this down obviously on the three sides. It is soggy, but hopefully that will be fine. Okay. Like that. Oops. Right, just could do moving that up a bit. Right, because it's shorter than the page, probably, you know, ideal to then make it top and bottom, you know, similar sort of space like that. Okay, that looks really nice. And then I'm going to go down the edge of the page just with a bit of the ribbon trim. I'm just going to sort of dovetail the ends off. Okay, just squish that down. I'm going to start here at the bottom, just working my way up this time. Like that. Okie dokie, and then here, obviously just finish off at the top. Oh, I've been wanting to use the kids books for ages lately, and yeah, it's ages since I've done a kids book journal, so this is really fun, you know, really nice. I love working with the kids book images, they're just so yummy. I've done the same thing with this, I don't know why, but yeah, seem to be not very good at ruffling the ribbon. Better with the sari silk, I think, but or perhaps it's just a bit less noticeable with the sari silk, I'm not sure. But I mean, doesn't that look so scrumptious and gorgeous? Looks so pretty, doesn't it? Okay, and then on the facing page, what else I've got here is I've just got a few flowers. These are just paper flowers that I bought, you know, a long time ago. So we could just pull in a couple of those, something like that. Now, wonder whether these will ink up well. And the reason I say that is sometimes inking pink can turn it a little bit orange. So I just wanted to check what kind of results I'd get with the inking of this. So I think that looks okay. Just ink that one there, and then this one. There we go, like that. Oops. Like that. Okay, now do we want to put anything here? Are we happy with this kind of appearance, ready for the, you know, this is being the journaling space? And then maybe have a little bit of just ribbon coming out from under those flowers. So again, just going to dovetail those like that. Okie dokie. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue in there, and then glue these down onto the paper. Oops. Obviously want them coming out, you know, from behind the flowers, so like that. This one just there, like that. and this one just on top. So, you know, very, very basic supplies that I'm using here. But, I mean, how gorgeous does that look as a little double page spread? So, very, very cute, isn't it? And, of course, then we can put something in here. So, it might be time to get my nursery rhyme book again and see what other pages I've got in there. So, let's just see. I mean, he actually goes quite well, doesn't he? Let me check what's on the other side. Well, I'm not that fussed by the images on the other side. The only thing is he's enormous. So I'm probably going to have to just have the top half of him, because the bottom half, you know, he's going to be, I think, too tall for the page. Let's just check. Yeah, I mean, he's quite huge, isn't he? So I'm going to just take him in like that, I think. Yep. And probably have to take him down about here. Let's see how we can get on if we took him sort of this height. He might still be too big, but we'll check. So I'll just tear that off there. And then just this piece. Okie dokie. Oh, he does tuck in quite nicely. So then, yep, let's just take him down to a better size for tucking in. So like that, I think. Okay, now I've got some page here from a book. Now this is some fly sheet, so just going to tear this off. Okay, like that. Now, do we want him with a bit of blue around the edge? Just kind of sets him off quite nicely, doesn't it? Or do we like him with the... No, definitely no. Yeah, like him with the bit of blue. So I'm going to pop him onto here. And then actually I'll do him this side. And then I might just even keep this little edge, this rough edge on, because I think that's quite nice, to be honest. So we'll see. Might take it down slightly in terms of height, so I just make sure that I get that top bit. Okay, like that. So we just then glue this down. Okie dokie. Like that. So I've left him with an edge. So we see that blue, which looks very pretty, doesn't it? And yeah, really love how that looks. So, you know, again, just using up scraps. Oh, look what I've done now. I've glued him too far down. So now that's really up high. What an idiot. I hadn't even really noticed that I was doing that until it's too late. And now I have done that. Very annoying. I wonder if I could fold that down or something and make some sort of feature of that top bit. I don't think I'm going to be able to. I mean, I could fold it like this. We have that as a sort of, well, that looks quite cool actually. I quite like that. So yeah, I'm going to just, I think, go for that. Tempted to even staple that down, to be honest. I think the staples would look very cute. So yeah, let's just go across that top, staple that down. Like that. Oops. Like that. Oh my goodness, how gorgeous does that look? Love, love, love that journal card. That's so cute. So again, just ink around that. Like this. Okie dokie. Right. Ink a bit on the back as well. Okay. Okie dokie. Right. Looking good, looking good. So that will tuck into that pocket. Oh my goodness. I mean, I absolutely love, love, love that page. That's just turned out so, so, so pretty, hasn't it? Now we could even have a label perhaps somewhere over here. Or like a sort of bookplate type arrangement at the bottom. Could have it here. What do we think? I like it everywhere, but actually I'm going to have it, I think, at the bottom. This is just from my Christmas kit from the Merry and Bright Christmas kit. So just going to pop that down just there like that. Okay. Wow, doesn't that look absolutely gorgeous? Very, very cute. So we've probably got time for one last page. So just kind of checking where my pages are at the moment. So I think I need to go now further back in the book because, yeah, I've got that one. And right, okay, so these are plain pages. These are what I would call journaling pages. Oh gosh, I've stuck that one together when I was painting it. Obviously way too impatient when I was painting that, and yeah, now I've stuck that together. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right, okay, so maybe this will be the page we work on, because of course I now need to cover all this stuff up. Yeah, don't do that. don't stick them together. Oh, I do that all the time when I do this type of thing. Right, okay, so these are what I would call journaling pages, and by that I just mean they were quite plain pages in the book. So I left them single, you know, single-sided. Oh gosh, I've got another one that's stuck together. Not quite so badly. Yeah, not quite so badly. So I've left them quite plainish for just pure journaling areas. So I'll just ink this one up a little bit. They're a bit tricky to ink up because they're obviously now single page thickness. Okay. So that one. Okie dokie. Right. Woo. Right, okay. So yeah, I now need to kind of obviously cover this up because what a mess I've made up here, to be honest. Oh, it looks terrible, doesn't it? So I've got this image here, which we obviously tore out. Now, I mean, it should be better further down the page. Let me see what else I've got from the book. I mean, what would be great is to be able to have some sort of banner or something up here, because obviously I've not made a good job of tearing those out. So, right, I might take this page with all these tiny images. So this one might work quite well, to be honest. Okie dokie. So I'm thinking we could either like tear this and have it like a strip across the top, and sort of similar, I guess, with this, or we could have them kind of put down. I think I'm going to try and tear this. Let's see how this looks. I mean, that's very cute, isn't it? So yeah, let's take that in there like that. Okay, so yeah, that would have to kind of go round a little bit and then just tear off on that side there. Oops. Like that. Okay, so I mean, that's very cute, isn't it? Yeah, I quite like that. So maybe have that. Now I'm just wondering, just seeing what other papers we've got left that we've kind of torn into, because I love being able to like reuse things, or, you know, use up stuff. So we could even on here have, I was going to say tear that down, but actually let me just check. I mean, ridiculous. I'm trying to now hoard this, that I can just obviously print off more. Oh, story of my life, honestly. Just always trying to hoard the papers. Right. So yeah, let's take that into the crease a little bit, like this. Oh, actually thinking now perhaps we could double that like that. Love how that looks now. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to do that. So let's pop this down first. I just need to be a little bit careful how I'm gluing this, because I need to have it so it's going to show beneath here. So if I just pop this on top, just whilst I'm gluing it down. So if that was at the top of the page, this needs to be around about this sort of depth on the page, if you see what I mean. So just pop that there. Okay. So very cute, very cute. And then this one, just pop on the top of there. I mean, again, could have even put this really as a little tuck spot, to be honest. Haven't done that because obviously I didn't bother reinforcing it or anything with the book page, but yeah, definitely could have probably got away with reinforcing that, and then could have just glued it on 3 sides, and that would have been a little tuck spot at the top of the page. I don't think it needs it, and we are just keeping things simple, aren't we? So, you know, not really kind of necessary to do, but there we go. Oh, that's so cute, isn't it? So again, just ink these bits up. Now they're glued in like that. Okay, like that. Right, loving how that looks. And then just wondering whether we want to have any ribbon across the top. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not on that one. Now, what about if we had a bit of ribbon here? Just wondering whether we could cover up, you know, where I've done that awful, you know, monstrosity here, whether I could get rid of some of that. Possibly could, to be honest. So let's just cut this down here like that and dovetail this side like that. Now I'm thinking possibly have it here, and then maybe have a flower or something like that on there as well. So let's just see what bits we've got here. So yeah, something like this, I think. So going to just again glue this down. Okay, like that. Now I haven't taken that right up to the top. Can you see that? Because the flower's going to go on top of it. So just quickly ink the flower up a bit like that. Okay, pop the flower down onto the ribbon, and then let's just see. It's a smaller flower. Oh my goodness, this is where I don't have another one. I was going to say I didn't have another one in the colour, which that would be very annoying, wouldn't it? There we go. Again, just ink that up a bit. And we just put that flower. I mean, you could just leave it just a single flower. That looks pretty too, but we'll just finish it off like that. There we go. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look pretty? And then you could always put a little, you know, page tab or something on here as well. So let's just pop this down here on the side. Again, I'm just going to hot glue this. You could staple it. In fact, I will staple it. Yeah, I will. So just going to put that on. Again, it's just tying in like the ribbon from one side to the other side. Oops, just reaching my stapler. One side to the other side, you know, one page to the facing page. It's bringing in the cohesion throughout the whole journal. You know, we've used this ribbon now in several places, which, you know, just ties in throughout the whole journal and just keeps that sort of continuity going. So I'm going to just continue this whole journal now, kind of like going through and, you know, doing very similar things. I will, of course, show you when it's finished. But yeah, this was kind of our simplistic journal, as in an altered book journal. And like I say, you could really just keep it very, very simple. You know, you could even just keep it maybe just 3 more pages decorated than this. And that would be fine. And then just your odd plain pages that you've got, you know, for example, this, you could just ink it up like so. Okay, I could really do with a new blender sponge on here, but we're just kind of like make do with what we've got for the minute. Okay. So bearing in mind, we're going to be keeping these as more like journal kind of pages, you know. What you could do is just literally pop a butterfly on here, pop some ribbon on here or something like that, you know, pop a label onto there. Very, very easy, you know, finishing touches that you could do on here. So I've got some stickers, which are label stickers. Had these for a long time. I've been sort of hoarding them. Oh, they're not, these might not be stickers actually. I might be fibbing. They might just be bits of paper. Yeah, they're bits of paper. So you could just kind of put things like this in, and that would just be then a complete journaling page, you know, that you could then use as a writing page. And then, like I say, you could just finish it off by having maybe a little bit of the same ribbon down the side or something, just for a bit of continuity. You could like have another paper ruffle and things. You could maybe just put some words from the book, you know, those types of things, to just bring the whole thing together and make it, you know, flow sort of really well throughout the whole journal. So like I say, I will come back and obviously show you the finished thing when it's complete. And yeah, hope you like it. Hope you liked the first idea of something very quick and easy, very simplistic, basic journal, rewinding things right back to basics and keeping things, you know, very simple, you know, to make a very simple journal. So yeah, hope that you liked it, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much. Really appreciate a big thumbs up to this video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.